Hello, I'm Caleb Quasigro.
And I'm Amy Galashevsky. Welcome to Marquette Now. Coming up, new leaders for Marquette students.
Campus safety issues continue.
Who's behind the build?
And later, a doubleheader weekend.
All that and more, starting right now.
From the Jeannie Hayes Virtual Studio, this is Marquette Now.
Caleb, the results are in. Bridgman Flowers and Samari Price will be the next Marquette University Student Government President and Executive Vice President. They are the first all-black ticket to ever be elected to this position, receiving 907 votes. 30% of eligible voters voted earlier this week. To learn more about these candidates, check out the debate from last Sunday, hosted by MUTV.
Marquette's Board of Trustees is approving a new policy for more socially responsible investments. This comes after fossil-free Marquette's referendum last spring, where 90% of voters said yes to fossil fuel divestments. Last semester, the organization drafted a letter to the university urging action.
Never heard back from the administration about that. There was no statement, there was no response. So then when we got the email that we did a couple weeks ago, that was a huge surprise for us. We had no idea it was happening. So we found out at the same time as everybody else, which is really exciting, and I'm still really excited about it.
Despite the updated endowment, fossil-free Marquette claims there is still work to do.
As far as next steps go, the biggest thing that we're looking for is a timeline. We would like, some more transparency about what this actually means and what this is going to look like, because a lot of this information is really inaccessible. I know that this isn't the end for fossil free. I really do see a bright future for Marquette's sustainability.
Convenience stores are not so convenient recently on Marquette's campus. Marquette Now's Timothy Leteau goes shopping for some answers.
Walgreens is supposedly at the corner of Happy and Healthy, but the 1600 West Wisconsin Avenue location might be anything but after failing a health inspection last week and temporarily closing. It takes a minimum of 8 health violations or an imminent health hazard to be shut down.
I live just a block away from Walgreens, so I come there all the time for snacks or for anything, so it's pretty concerning, considering how often I'm there.
Walgreens employees tell me the store was closed for less than 24 hours on Thursday. Communications manager Karen May said that the store reopened following the services of a professional cleaning crew and the health inspector's approval. Additional disruptions to the store hours are not anticipated. Cleanliness problems aren't new for the store. In 2019, that location received a couple of violations for excessive dirt and mold.
I know a lot of people that go there, and Walgreens is supposed to be health related, and the fact that they failed their health inspection is just kind of ironic in my opinion.
Even more ironic, the 7-Eleven on Wells Street has its own fiasco after a credit card skimming device was recovered there last week. In Friday's statement, MUPD advises those that shop there in the last 6 weeks to closely monitor their account and change their PIN number if they swipe their card. Tap transactions were not at risk of having information stolen.
When I saw the email come out, it definitely was a little scary to see it first. But yeah, I've been going here a lot over when this was happening, the 6-week period.
7-Eleven did not respond to a request for comment, but how can they regain trust in the community?
Probably give out a statement, I gotta be honest with you. Just them come out and speak about it and make sure it doesn't happen. If it actually happens, make sure it doesn't happen again.
I think the best way they can build back trust, get some good deals going.
Can they buy back trust? Shoppers will be the ones to check it out. I'm Timothy Leteau, Marquette Wire News.
Tara Belargian is named Permanent Dean of Libraries after holding the interim position since October. The dean oversees the library staff as well as the library itself.
The dean gets to make sure that everything's running, that you as students and the faculty get the services and resources they need, that the staff and librarians get the support they need.
Belargian says that she is excited for the position.
And then when Janice retired, Janice Welburn, I was in the interim role, and I thought, this is a blast. I want to I want to do this all the time.
The library is not only a quiet study space, but it is also a home to many resources that are overlooked at Marquette.
Out there. And, in the last few years, hearing about disinformation and fake news, and how do you know if a source is reliable? How do you know if you should believe it or trust it? Well, that's where we can, show you where to find those really reliable sources that you can trust.
One student is petitioning for a new language minor. Marquette Now's Timothy Leteau takes us into the classroom.
This classroom is silent, but it is filled with conversation. Silent until there's laughter.
My favorite part of teaching this is watching students develop in class and watching students perform.
A, B, C, D, E. F is the hard one for me. F, G, H, I.
Along with Dana, Ava is hoping that American Sign Language becomes a minor at Marquette, and she began a petition to get started.
I didn't really expect it to go as big as it did. I thought maybe I'd get like 100 signatures. I could show my professor. He could use that however he wished. All of a sudden, now I'm writing a resolution from USG, and I think it's getting some traction.
There's currently American Sign Language 1 and 2, both taught by Dana. I spoke with him and his TA, who is deaf. Dana translated for him.
I want them to know so they can be involved, to meet deaf people, create deaf space, be deaf friendly, learn about the culture, history that has been going on since all time. To know that we have experiences that are hard. I want them to know that. I want them to learn that, we can understand and understand us better.
You can't get a better understanding any other way.
There's not a Duolingo for sign language.
It's what you do with your knowledge that makes Anthony hopeful.
It's an immersive experience, bringing people together about deaf culture and history, community, the rules of sign, and building the bridges so we can all kind of experience that one, being one.
Being one so that no one has to be alone. I'm Timothy Leteau, Marquette Wire News.
The Office of International Education places an emphasis on community amidst separation. International students get the opportunity to meet up, relax, and bond over themed snacks every Friday. This week's theme, Wisconsin.
I like a lot. I mean, I'm a fan of cheese, basically, so I'm enjoying the food here. I'm quite crazy for cheese curds, I have to say.
A lot of friends from all of the world, around the world, so we can talk about where are you from, and we can share the experience.
Good food and good company is not the only benefit this event provides.
We will feel we are not a part of the university or not a part of the world, but here, university gave us the chance to put all the international students here, and there are some kind of local volunteer to help us, so it will let us feel someone care about us.
Students walk past the new College of Business Administration building daily, but who's behind the build?
Well, Caleb, reporter Max Pieper has the story.
This over here is the Central Light Well. This is in the center and heart of our Marquette University future College of Business Administration.
A $60 million, 100,000 square foot college that is being designed with the help of Marquette's own engineering student interns.
The new College of Business here at Marquette is going to feature a lot of new, great, innovative spaces. Many of the things that we can see are new offices for our e-lead program, meeting rooms for students to use for collaboration on every single floor, and finally we also have the AIM lab.
It may seem like a lot of chaotic noise, but there is more to it than just dangerous machinery.
I do a lot of coordination and communication with many members of the field, especially working with our project management team.
However, there is a hidden element to construction that you might not know.
Communication is key in this industry.
Working with 50 to 60 people in 8 trades.
And having communication work between all of those different trades is honestly a lot more planning and management than most people realize.
Communication has been essential in managing different parts of the build.
Helping coordinate between the different subcontractors that we have on site, making sure that everyone was kind of speaking the same language, so to say.
For Camilla, success with this internship has been developing communication expertise.
I have a lot stronger of a communication skills with all different types of people.
But more than anything,
each day is a fun new journey where I get to learn something new every day.
I'm Max Pieper, Marquette Wire News.
As the school year comes to a close, student organizations begin to define new ideas. The Black Student Council hosts a family reunion event to discuss their goals for the upcoming year.
Took the time that we needed to readjust our organization, focus on what we want to do in the future and how we want to get input for students. And so we wanted to open up this space for that conversation. We have a few games, we have some food, but really it's about facilitating a brief conversation about what do students want from us for the incoming year.
Students use this event to not only give their own input, but to learn from others.
Something that I really want to get out of this event is how to be a good advocate for the Black programs at Marquette, and also how to empower the youth.
The break, putting on a show.
And later, multiple matchups. We'll be right back.
Unfairly because of the color of their skin.
Do you guys know what it means to have white privilege?
What is racism and what do you think about it?
Talk to young children about what racism is, giving them the language to understand it. They can be disruptors. They can shape and shift culture.
We may not always know the answer, but we'll try and help you learn.
You don't have to have all the answers, but that doesn't mean we can't start.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
What are you looking for?
Welcome back to Marquette Now. I'm Caleb Quazigro.
And I'm Amy Galashevsky. Milwaukee has lots of hidden secrets off the beaten path.
As Marquette Now's Sarah Richardson reports, some have unique surprises for everyone that won't make heads turn, but instead, bobble.
Across the bridge outside the 3rd Ward is a coffee shop commonly seen around Milwaukee. Brewing just above the beans are bobbles. Bobbleheads, that is.
But people in Wisconsin are definitely as much or more bobblehead crazy than anybody else or anywhere else in the country.
Having just opened in 2019, the museum displays over 7,000 bobbleheads. Buzzing in the bobble are funky little heads for everyone.
Whether it's a TV show they grew up with or favorite players or whatever it might be, it's a fun experience for people of all ages.
People usually leave happy, they come like, whoa, with big eyes. So it's really cool to see everybody's reaction to this crazy place.
Visitors coming from all 50 states and over 25 countries, the museum has many heads bobbling in and out on the daily. Even Marquette fans can see their favorite icons.
Pretty much, I think all the Marquette bobbleheads that have been made from Dwayne Wade to former coaches and former players, people like Chris Farley, Marquette graduation bobblehead, a Golden Eagle ornament bobblehead.
With many bobbleheads designed in the museum, it all started with a small hobby with the co-founders.
Instead of just going to random Brewers and Bucks games, we'd circle the bobblehead games, and before we knew it, the one bobblehead turned into 10 and 20, and then we started to grow out of control in 2013. So we put the idea to have a one-of-a-kind museum.
Bobbling off, I'm Sarah Richardson, Marquette Wire News.
Marquette Theater showcases their cast of dancing queens. Reporter Kristen Parisi hits the big stage to share the story with us.
When you know,
Maybe on the other side, or
you know. And when these actors found out the Marquette Theater Department was putting on Mamma Mia, they knew it was a dream come true.
Oh my gosh, it means so much. I come to rehearsal every day, and still every day we do something and I'm like, I can't believe we're doing Mamma Mia.
After being put off for 2 years because of the pandemic, the theater department is ready to pull back the curtain for all the dancing queens.
It's just so fun and lighthearted, and coming off of just some really rough times in life just for everyone. It's nice to have something that's just an excuse to sing and dance ABBA's greatest hits and have fun. It really is just a fun, lighthearted show, and I love it so much.
At Marquette, the theater is a place for everyone. So no matter what your major is, you're always welcome to join the show.
Go, go, go.
Thank you. Well, I'm not a part of the theater department. I'm a nursing major, and I did theater in high school, and I was like, this is my last chance. I'm a senior, and I found out they're doing Mamma Mia, and this show is so special to me.
At the end of the day, jamming out to ABBA and finding a forever family is all that really matters to those to help me call inside the theater department.
Now I'm realizing these people are super important to me, and I just feel a part of the family.
And if you just want to get away from the world, come catch Mamma Mia from April 1st to 10th at the Hellfair Theater. I'm Christian Parisi, Marquette Wired News.
You know, this past week has been pretty gloomy.
Oh my gosh. I haven't seen the sun in a week.
TJ, give us some good news here.
I hope
Show it.
I hope I can. Well, like Katy Perry said, you're hot and you're cold, and then you're yes, then you're no, and that's certainly what these temperatures have been. It's gotten a little warmer today, but as the past week has been happening, it's stayed pretty cold. But let's take a look at our temperature. Right now, we're sitting at 49 degrees. Not too warm, but that wind really does make it a little bit cold, and we've been seeing some rain today with precipitation at 80% and winds coming from the south at 8 miles an hour. Now let's take a look into our state overnight lows. You can see that here down in southern Wisconsin, here at Milwaukee and Madison, it's staying stable at about 30, but up north in Superior, we can see that it's staying a little chillier, and that rain's going to continue tonight in Milwaukee as well. Now, let's take a look at tomorrow's highs. As we see here in Wausau, it's going to be 34. Milwaukee, it's going to stay at 38, which again doesn't seem too cold, but we hope that as the spring keeps moving, it can get a little warmer out here. But definitely bring your jackets tomorrow because, like I said, that wind can make the cold a lot colder. Tonight, there's going to be some rain with a mix of snow possibly, and the low is going to be 35 with an 100% humidity and precipitation at 86%. Now, tomorrow is going to be a wet day for sure, as snow and rain will taper off at the end of the day and during the morning, and it'll be cloudy during the afternoon. But again, bring those jackets because you don't know when the sky could drop. Now let's take a look at our extended forecast. We can see that these temps are staying in the mid-40s here. Not too bad, but as again we see it, this wet type of a deal we got going on that shows good signs of spring. So now let's take that's it for weather, but stay with us because London Davis will be back with sports right after this.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Roll over. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting. Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor. It's time we take a step forward, come together,
and discover
how accepting our differences can make us stronger.
Welcome back. I'm London Davis with your Marquette Now Sports Report. The Marquette men's lacrosse team welcomed in the United States Air Force Academy to Valley Fields on Saturday. Although redshirt first-year attacker Luke Blanc records his first career hat trick, Air Force goes on a 7-1 run in the first half en route to a 16-9 victory over Marquette. First-year attacker Bobby O'Grady and redshirt first-year attacker Jake Stegman both tack on a goal and 2 assists in the loss. The Golden Eagles dropped their 3rd straight game with conference play starting April 2nd when they welcome in the Providence Friars. The weekend wraps up with the Marquette women's lacrosse team taking on Central Michigan University. After going winless on their 2-game road trip, the Golden Eagles come out ready to protect their home field. Kristen Parisi takes us to the action.
On a cold and gloomy day in Milwaukee, the Marquette women's lacrosse team is ready to bring the heat. Hoping to snap a 2-game losing streak and welcoming in the Central Michigan Chippewas, the Golden Eagles are ready to roll at Valley Fields. A high-scoring affair in the first quarter sees both teams coming from behind to knot things up at 6 at the first buzzer. The second quarter is a defensive battle with 7 total goals and Marquette outscoring Central Michigan 4-3 and taking a 10-9 advantage into halftime. The third quarter is all Golden Eagles as Marquette outscores the Chippewas 5-0 with Shea Garcia scoring 2 in the frame, extending their lead to 15-9. Central Michigan attempts a comeback in the fourth quarter, but Marquette stands strong down the stretch to pick up the win 19-13.
Really proud of our team today. I think we fought really hard. It was a true team win. Every single player from the bench to the field had an impact on the game, and we need that.
The Golden Eagles were led by senior midfielder Lydia Faust, who ends the day with 5 total goals, with 3 of them coming in the first quarter.
Yeah, I think I worked this week on finishing my shots. I've had issues this season, just putting it in the back of the net, and I think once I went by someone, I just really looked to capitalize on that opportunity and not turn the ball over because that hurts my teammates.
First-year goalkeeper Brenna Nixon ends the day with 6 saves after she replaces Amanda Rumsey in the second quarter.
She was ready. She's, being a backup goalie, it's hard. You always have to be ready for whatever's happening, and our starter just wasn't feeling it in the first quarter. Happens, but Brenna gets called on. She was ready. She crushed it.
The Golden Eagles are back in action next Saturday when they travel to Yukon to take on the Huskies. Reporting from Valley Fields, I'm Kristen Parisi, Marquette Wire Sports.
That's it for sports, but don't go anywhere. Marquette Now will be right back with our Down to the Wire segment.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
Welcome back, friends. I'm Caleb Quasagro.
And I'm Amy Galashewski. Marquette Wire Executive News Editor Megan Woolard joins us now for tonight's special edition of Down to the Wire.
She's with Marquette women's basketball beat reporters Ben Schultz and Jackson Gross. Megan?
Ben and Jackson, thanks so much for coming on the show tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited. First time I'm on Down to the Wire, so it should be fun.
It's good to be here.
So last week, the women's basketball team season ended in their loss of the Sweet 16 of the WNIT to Toledo. What are your guys' overall thoughts on how the season went?
Well, we'll start with that game first in particular. Quenisha Lockett just absolutely went off in that fourth quarter, 21 points in the fourth quarter. But it was an entertaining game, back and forth. As our executive sports editor, John Liuzzi, say, it was March. But overall, the season, it was an incredible season to cover. There were some bumps in the road. They kind of fell off towards the end of the year, had some struggles with some of the better teams in the conference, like Villanova, obviously UConn. But overall, it was a pretty good season for Marquette women's basketball.
Yeah, I'll talk about the game first, kind of like Jackson did. I thought they played really well in the game. There was a lot of points, though, which is Marquette's kind of not their forte. Their forte is playing great team defense, which is something they've done all season. And I believe they got put up, or the opponent scored over 50 points in that first half, which is just not Marquette's recipe to win. And then on the season, they didn't make the NCAA tournament, but they did very well in the WNIT, which I think they can see as a success.
Mm-hmm. So March is also March Madness, also Women's History Month. In terms of historic things that happened in women's basketball this year, first time March Madness was used for both the men and women's tournament, and first time they had a Selection Sunday show. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of thought that the Selection Sunday show was a little bit rushed, kind of thrown together. What were your guys' thoughts on the show?
Yeah, well, it followed the men's show, which I don't think was as good because so many college basketball fans were watching the men's show and then wanted to fill their brackets out right away. So they went right to doing that. And I think Tom Brady's announcement that he was coming back also did not help because he's pretty big news. And so it didn't help because I don't think it would have helped the men's show either, but it was just unfortunate timing for the first time that it would be on the women's show.
Yeah, I was able to cover the selection show, and while it was good to have like an actual show and have people talk about the bracket, I feel like it was a lot shorter than the men's. I think timing-wise, I think it was almost the same, but it felt like they were just kind of bullet training through that entire bracket, just saying, oh, here, boom, 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 here's everyone, here's where they are and all that, and didn't do a ton of deep dive, which on one hand, it was nice to kind of get through kind of quick and for my own personal sake, but overall, I think you need to have it on a different day. I know everyone gets hype over Selection Sunday, but I think like we had talked about before the show started was like a Selection Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So just having something on a different day, you have that time for marketing and to build it up, and you still have your separate marketing for the men's selection show as well.
Mm-hmm. Kind of on that same topic of discrepancies, what are maybe some changes you would like to see on Marquette between the men's and women's basketball teams?
Man, there's quite a bit, in all honesty. I think just how the teams are promoted and the effort that goes in. I mean, we saw a lot on both teams' social media pages, obviously graphics for scores or previews for games, and it didn't seem like there's the same like budget and quality that could have been put into those. They still look great, don't get me wrong, but there was a clear difference in how much time and effort could be put into those. So I think allotting more time and energy and money into those so that way they're on the same level.
Yeah, one thing I think that's important is that the women's team plays in the Al McGuire Center, which holds a lot less people than the Pfizer Forum where the men's team plays. I think the women's team has a little bit of an advantage because the Al McGuire Center is on campus though. You don't have to make the super cold trek to Pfizer Forum or anything like that, but I think just the capacity is a big thing, but they're wearing the Jordan Brand thing, wearing Jordan Brand jerseys. They're sponsored by Jordan Brand. I think that's a big thing for the program and just for Marquette in general.
Mm-hmm. Maybe also something we want to think about. National Marquette Day this year was on a day. It was exclusively a men's home game. The women did not play that day, so that kind of could show where those priorities are. Looking at next season, who are some players we want to watch?
Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, for me, I think it's Jordan King. She really closed the season really well. She started shooting the ball much better towards the end of the season and into the postseason, and so they're going to need that next year with the loss of Chris McLaughlin.
Yeah, I think I'll go a different position. I'll go Liza Carlin, one of their forwards. She had an absolute breakout season this year, and I just expect a lot more from her, especially with losing Lauren Van Clunen.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jackson and Ben, that is all the time we do have for tonight. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Good to be here.
I'll send it back to Caleb and Amy in the studio.
Thanks, Megan. That's our report for tonight. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm Caleb Quasigrove.
And I'm Amy Galashewski. Remember to check MarquetteWire.org for all the latest campus news. Good night, Marquette.